Interquartile range is defined as the difference between the third quartile and the first quartile. So IQR equals Q3 minus Q1. Lower fence is defined as Q1 minus 1.5 IQR. Upper fence is defined as Q3 plus 1.5 IQR. Now, let's do an example. So, the accompanying data is given. Compute the z-score of the individual. So, this data represents the miles per gallon of a random sample of cars. Compute the z-score corresponding to the individual who obtained 34.5 miles per gallon. So for z-score, we need the mean and standard deviation. And this time it's a big data. So we're going to do the mean and standard deviation through Excel. And the way we do it is we hit this little window and that will copy. It gives the option to copy in Excel. So we open in Excel. Okay, and then you will hit enable editing if this is available. And now we first need the mean. So anywhere here you can do equals, and the command for mean is the average. So it's average. And we highlight all these. So basically it's the average of these numbers, and then we enter. And so the average is 38.946. Let's record it. 38.946. And then we find the standard deviation on Excel. And the command for standard deviation is equals ST. So this one is a sample. So we do standard deviation dot S. And once again, we highlight all the data. And we go here and we enter. The standard deviation is 3.472. And now we find the z-score of the given value. So let's go back to see what the value was. So the reason why we use sample standard deviation is, it says here, a random sample of cars. So we want the z-score for 34.5. So x is equal to 34.5. And so let's copy this template again. So x is 34.5. Mean is 38.946. And standard deviation 3.472. And let's see what we get. So 34.5 minus 38.946 divided by 3.472. And I get negative 1.28. That's the z-score. Let's check it. Z-score is negative 1.28. So here we needed this to two decimal places, and usually it's a safe thing to round the intermediate answers one decimal place more. So if you remember, we were rounding the mean and standard deviation to three decimal places because the final answer we needed was to two decimal places. And as we know, z-score indicates mm, how much a data value is above or below. In this case, it's a negative z-score, so um, it means it's 1.28 standard deviations below the mean. And now we have to find the quartiles. So let's see how to find quartiles in Excel. So the data is already there. So we will do is equal to quartile. And we want the first quartile. So we do comma 1. The first quartile is 36.65. Let's check it. And the second quartile is the median. So we just do equals to median. Remember, every Excel command starts with an equal sign, equals median. We click on that, and then again, we select all of this, and we enter. Median is 38.6, so that's Q2. Q2 is 38.6. Let's check it. And then we find Q3 in a similar way that we found the first quartile. So we will do equals quartile. And we select this first one. We select the array. And then we do comma 3. We want the third quartile. Enter. So 41.2. And then we find the interquartile range. As we said, interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1. So Q3 is 41.2. Let's record it. Interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1. And that will be equal to 41.2 minus 36.65. And that's equal to 4.55. An interquartile range is the range of the middle 50% of the observations. Because Q3 and Q1 are the 25th and 75th percentile, and you subtract 75 and 25, you get 50. So let's see. Is the range the middle 50% data, and is defined as follows. So let's see. Determine the lower and upper fences. Are there any outliers? So lower fence, we said, was 1 Q1 minus 1.5 IQR. And that will be equal to 36.65 minus 1.5 times 4.55. And we get 36.65 minus 1.5 times 4.55. 29.825. Let's record it. 29.825. And then the upper fence we said was 1.5 Q3 plus 1.5 IQR. And that will be equal to Q3 was 41.2 plus 1.5 times 4.55 equals 48.025. Let's record it. And then they say any outliers. So are there any outliers? Now, outliers are those values in the data that are outside this range of the lower fence and the upper fence. So anything less than 29.825 or bigger than 48.025 will be an outlier. And so we see here that 48.9 is the only value that is outside of this interval from 29.825 to 48.025. So 48.9 is the only outlier. And now in the following data, we have monthly phone use in minutes of a customer enrolled in a fraud prevention program for the past 20 months. The phone company decides to use upper fence as the cutoff point. for the number of minutes. So basically, we find the upper fence in this problem, for which we do need the Q3 and the Q1. So let's again open it in Excel by clicking this little window and then, okay, once again, enable editing. And we need the Q1 and the Q3. So equals quartile, and it's the first one here. And then we highlight the data and comma 1. That gives the first quartile. It's 336.25. Then let's record it 336.25. Now let's find the third quartile. So equals quartile. Let's select this, highlight everything, comma 3. So 476.75. IQR will be the difference. Q3 minus Q1. And that will equal 476.75 minus 336.25 equals 139.5. So upper fence will be Q3 plus 1.5 IQR. Be 476.75 plus 1.5 times IQR 139.5 equals 686. Let's see. Where did we go wrong? So 476.75 minus 336.25 is 140.5, not 139.5. This is 140.5 times 1.5 plus 476.75. That's 687.5. And they say round to the nearest minute. So to the nearest minute, it will be 688. $688. Okay.